Facts.
Okay, so zero conditional talks about facts. But can you give me an example of first conditional, of zero conditional? Any example with zero conditional? You said that we talk about facts, correct? And usually when we talk about facts, do we, do we use, what kind of tenses do we use? What kind of verb form do we use in the if clause, and which verb form do we use in the main clause?
Present simple.
In both of them, you mean, right?
Yeah.
Correct. Now, all you need is to give me an example. When you start with if, and the if clause, of course, has present simple, and the main clause also has present simple.
هذه ما زال فيها خشويش.
Just think of an example. The same one you did about if we win the cup, I'll give you chocolate. Just do something. We'll do it with the present simple. That's all. Can you think of an example?
No, actually.
No?
No.
Okay, can you talk a little bit about physics? Something talk about something in engineering, or you're an engineer, right? I mean, you're studying engineering, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So give me some kind of technical, if you do something happens kind of example.
لا محمد رسول الله.
What happens if you drive too fast?
You will get fast.
You will
come earlier.
You'll come earlier, okay, but you're still doing it in the future. Let's not talk about. Let's choose another example. What happens when water reaches 100 degrees? What happens?
It boils.
Okay, there you are. This is an example. Can you do the whole thing together?
If water reaches 100 degrees, it boils.
Okay, this is good. If water reaches 100 degrees, it boils, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this an example of zero conditional or first conditional? What type of conditional is it? Zero or first?
Zero.
Correct.
This is a fact.
Yes. This is an example of zero conditional. Correct. Give me another example like this. Also a fact.
Okay.
Any other examples? Something like the water boiling.
If water reaches 0 degree, it freezes.
Okay, correct. Also correct. This is an example of zero conditional. Another example, something else. Not about water, just, think of behavior, think of cats, think of nature, think of anything which is sort of factual.
If you don't feed the cat, it will get angry, hungry.
This is first conditional because he said it will get hungry.
Okay. مركز شوي.
What happens to plants when you stop watering them?
Dies.
Okay, can you put that in a conditional sentence?
If you don't water your plants, it dies.
That's it. Or can you reverse it? Do it, start it from the main clause. Start the sentence by saying plants
dies if you don't water them.
This is zero conditional. Plants die if you don't water them. So die, present simple, don't water, present simple. In negative, but still present simple. You get the idea? All right, I think you get the rough idea. All right, so that's it. This is the main difference really between first conditional and second conditional. Okay. So we did a little bit of this last lesson, and we talked about these two rules. So let me just quickly mark them again for you. We discussed that zero conditional talks about things which are always true. So for facts, and we also agreed that in zero conditionals, both verbs are in the present simple, okay? So this was the last point we covered in the rules. Now, we want to take a look at the other if conditionals used in this article, the one about, you know, school and children, if you remember. I'm going to take you to the three examples, number 3, 4, and 5, and then I want you to answer these questions, okay? So, but let's read the questions first. Can you read the first question for us, Brian? In part B. First question.
Which sentence?
Exercise.
Which sentence?
Exercise 2.
3B ولا?
Yeah. Go ahead. Yes. Which sentence? No, correct. You're right. Which sentences?
Which sentences have a modal verb in the main clause?
Okay, so very quick reminder of what modal verbs are. So modal verbs, like I think I mentioned it once to you, they're a family of verbs that behave in a similar way, okay? So how do these verbs behave? When you use these verbs, you have to use an infinitive after them, okay? And this family, the modal verb family, you have verbs like can, could, shall, should, will, would, what else? Must, may, might. All right. So it's a specific family. They call these modal verbs. So if I want to write them in a list, I'll write them here. Can, could, shall, should, and then we have will, and would, then we have may, might, and must. All right, so try to use any of these examples in a sentence. Can you use can? Just use can in a sentence.
Can you use can in a sentence?
Yeah, just you use it. Use can in a
sentence. كسؤال.
No, put it in a positive sentence.
Okay. I can drive a car.
All right, that perfectly fine. What's the verb form of the verb that came after can? What is it? You said I
can drive.
Drive. And drive, what is it? Is it an ED verb? Is it an ING verb? Is it an infinitive verb?
Infinitive.
Correct. Okay. Can you use any other use any of these other modal verbs in a sentence? What about would?
Would.
Can you use?
Would you like?
Correct.
Would you get like? The coffee?
Would you like? So like is infinitive, right? Would you like? What about might?
I think I might pass the exam.
Okay, pass, infinitive again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to make a point that these verbs, all of them are followed by an infinitive, okay? And this is a bit strange for normal verbs, because normal verbs, you can't just use a verb and you can't use two infinitives next to each other. So for example, you cannot say, I speak go, or I go stay, or I eat drink at lunch, right? Doesn't make sense. You can't put two infinitives together
Mm-hmm.
right after each other. There has to be some kind of change in the second verb, right? So you must say, for example, you can say, I go shopping. You cannot say I go shop, but shopping is not really a
Mm-hmm.
verb. It's more of a, they call it a gerund, because it acts like a noun. It's an ing form. Usually verbs, when you put them at the ing, they sometimes behave like nouns. Anyway, so I'm just trying to illustrate what modal verbs are, okay? So in the question, they want you to look for which sentences have modal verbs in the main clause. So this means we need to go back to the article and take a look at examples 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, we don't want them, but we want 3. Can you read number 3 here?
If parents want their children to be happy, they shouldn't put too much pressure on them.
All right. Now, where's the modal verb here?
Shouldn't.
Right? That's correct. Shouldn't is your modal verb, correct? Okay. Now, what about the second example? I mean, number 4. Let's read the question first. It says, which of them? So you have to read 3, 4, 5, and then you decide which of them has a modal verb. So we found the first one, which is shouldn't. Let's see if the other two examples have modal verbs or not.
If your parents want if you want to help your children, praise the effort they make. ما فيش modal verb.
Correct. No modal verbs here. You're right.
If you're criticize children for not getting good grades,
okay,
they can feel like they are failures. حتى دي نفس الشيء.
Are you sure? If you take a closer look, maybe you can find the modal verb here. Can you find it?
B5.
No. Find is. Did you say find?
لا لا على 5 ولا.
Yeah, number 5. Yeah, number 5 also has a modal verb. You're right. But you have to find it. Can you find it?
كان. هوني قدام وجهي.
Correct, yes. Can is your modal verb. Just a second. I think. Just give me a second. I think my batteries. Okay, so yes.
Okay.
So we only found 2, right? 2 out of 3. So 2 of the 3 sentences have modal verbs. Number 3 and number 5. Okay. It says here in the second, can you read the second part of the exercise, part B? Which
sentence has an imperative in the main clause.
All right, now let me tell you what an imperative is. So an imperative is basically a verb which sort of gives you an order. It tells you that you must do something, or, you know, it's kind of an ordering verb.
فعل أمر.
Yes, this is it. This is it. So it's like a verb where you have to do something. So can you find one of those? Let me take you to the article so you can check. So look from number 3 to 5 and try to look for which verbs have an imperative. So tell me what you see.
If you want to praise the effort they make.
No, remember Amar, and it's in the main clause, not the if clause.
إيه هذا في المين clause.
Can you do this?
Number 4.
Okay, can you read number 4 again?
If you want to help your children, praise the effort they make.
Correct. Okay, praise, yes. So it's an order, you have to praise your kids. Okay, what about number 3 and 5? Can you see any imperatives? Did you find any imperatives in number 3?
5, no. And number 3. Number 3 and 4. Number 3 and 5 ما فيش imperative.
Correct. You're right, yes. So number 4 is the only one that has an imperative, right? So you say praise the effort, praise. Okay. Now, can you read the third part of the question here?
Which verb form is in the if clause in each sentence?
Let me take you. So check the verb form in the if clause, number 3, 4, and 5.
If parents want their children to act.
So what's the verb form?
Simple.
On all of them?
Yes.
Okay, can you show me which verb? Can you show me where the verb is? In the if clause, in each one of them. Number 3, 4, and 5.
Okay. And if parents want
This is
number.
correct. Yes, number 3. The verb of the if clause is want, right? Okay. What about number 4?
Number 4 حتى you want
Correct.
to help.
Yes, you're right. If you want.
To 5 criticize.
Right. If you criticize. Very good. So in these 3 verbs, what's the verb form from all 3 of them?
Present simple.
Correct. That's what we want.
لا.
Yes, you're right. Present simple. Present simple is the right answer, yes. All right, now we finished this part B. Now in part C, it says, look at the sentence. There's a sentence from the article, and then choose the correct word or phrase in the rules. Can you read the sentence written in blue, please, Brian?
Students are scared of answering questions in case they get them wrong.
Okay. Can you read the 2 rules? And let's talk a little bit about this blue sentence.
We use in case to talk about something that might or is definitely going to happen.
What do you think? How do we use, or how did we use in case in this example? Did we use it as to talk about something that might happen, or did we use it to talk about something that is definitely going to happen? When we say in case they get them wrong.
Might.
Okay, I'm going to just write your answers now. Now, what about the second point?
In case and if have.
Yeah, do they have the same meaning
or different meaning?
Or do they have different meanings? So how do you know how can you test if they have the same meaning or if they have different meanings? Just switch them. Try switching if with in case.
Okay.
And does it switch automatically? Does it give the same meaning, or is it slightly different?
In case parents want their children to be happy, they shouldn't put too much pressure on them. I think the same meaning.
Okay, so let's check. Let's check the summary we have. Let's see if they're really the same or if there is a bit of a difference. Let's see. So let's go to page 143, 42. All right, now here we have the summary of 0 conditionals. Starting from here in the bottom left, can you see the bottom left? So these are, of course, the things we already answered. So 0 conditional, 0 conditional, it means we talk about things which?
Always true.
Yeah, facts. So we talk about facts. This is what we're saying here, right? This is what we're saying. All right. It also says that we use the present simple. Of course, you also did this. In both clauses, the if clause has present simple and the main clause also has present simple, right? All right, can you read this tip, please? What does the tip say?
If and when have the same meaning in 0 conditionals. If when I'm stressed and I don't sleep very well.
All right, so in 0 conditionals, if and when don't have much difference. They're the same. Okay, let's move on. Let's check the other.
Yes.
Let's check the other tips. Okay, take a look at these tips at the top here. Take a look.
Okay, compare this sentence.
Mm-hmm.
If my children get good grades, I take them to the beach.
Okay. And the
This
second one?
sentence is a zero conditional. If my children get good grades, I will take them to the beach.
Mm.
The first one zero, Tanya, first conditional.
You're right, but when do we use this or when do we use the other? Can you tell me which one is better to use and why?
I think best one to use the first conditional in this sentence.
But is there a difference in meaning or not? When you say, if my children get good grades, I take them to the beach. Or, if my children get good grades, I'll take them to the beach.
I think the same, because if they get good grades, they will go to the beach.
But that's not exactly the case, Ibrahim. If you check the little explanation here, check this. They're showing you the difference between when you use will and when you don't use will. Take a look at both of them and then explain it to me in your own words.
This sentence conditional talks about something that's so true. I take my children to the beach every time they get good grades at school. Yeah. I will take my children to the beach every day.
Mm-hmm. So what did you
يعني the zero conditional talks about يعني all the exams. For every exam you will get, good grades, we will go to the beach.
Okay.
Conditional that talks about just one exam, the next exam they will
Yes.
do.
Correct, yes. With zero conditional, we're speaking about something that is always the case. Remember when we said that zero conditional is for facts. So here in zero conditional, in the first example, the father always takes the children to the beach. Of course, when I mean always, I mean any time they get good grades. Every time, basically. If you get a good grade, you'll go. This is the system. He's not talking about something specific. Because with present simple, when you say, for example, in English, when you say, I wake up at 9 o'clock, what does it mean? Are you talking about today? Are you talking about tomorrow? Are you talking about, I wake up at 9 o'clock?
Okay.
What does it mean exactly?
Talks about every day.
Yes. This is a routine of yours. This is some kind of habit. This is what you always do. You always get up at 9. There's nothing new here. Do you understand? So here, when in example A, if my children get good grades, I take them to the beach. This is their routine. There's nothing new, nothing changed, nothing happened that's not, I mean, this is how it always is. Get a good grade, go to the beach. We're not talking about one case. We're talking about this is our system. This is the system that is followed in this family. If you get a good grade, you'll get a chocolate. Not you. I mean, if you get a good grade, you get a chocolate. Every time. It's fixed. It's a fixed routine. The second one, we're talking about a specific exam, just next exam. Maybe this will stop after the next exam, but here the father is talking about one specific exam, which is the next one. If my children get good grades, I'll take them to the beach. So you get a good grade, I'll take you next time to the beach. So there is a small difference. If you want to do it in Arabic, can you do them both in Arabic?
كانك تجيب درجة باهية نرفعك للبحر.
Okay.
كانت تجيب درجة باهية في الامتحان هذا نرفعك للبحر.
Is it the same?
No.
What's the difference? لكن أنت بالعربي اديتها لي the same.
يعني لا حددت أنا.
كيف؟
يعني يقول يعني if you قلت أنا كانك تجيب درجات باهية نرفعكم من البحر. لكن قلت كانت تجيب في الامتحان الجاي درجة باهية نرفعك للبحر.
ممكن في طريقة أحسن. ممكن الأولى تمشي لأنه من غيره حتى اللفظ نقدر نقوله أنا نرفع في الصغار للشط كل ما يجيبوا درجة باهية. كل ما يجيبوا درجة باهية نرفعهم. كل ما يجيبوا درجة باهية نرفعهم. الثانية كانك جاوبت باهي المرة هذه كانك جاوبت باهي حنرفعك للبحر. Do you see the small difference? The first one is something that the father البو هذا معروف عليه هيك معروف عليه كل ما البو ولا الأم ولا متفرقش يعني هم لما يدعوا على صغارها وبتدعوا على صغارها كل ما صغارهم يجيبوا درجة باهية يرفع فيه هيك شكل هيك system. You get the idea? All right, so there is a difference actually in meaning. All right, now let's take a look at the second part here. This one we also finished back in the lesson. Now let's talk about conditional with modal verbs and imperatives. Remember when you found that two sentences had modal verbs, اللي هما shouldn't و can, and one of them had the imperative اللي هي praise. Do you remember? All right. So there is nothing new here. I think مجرد معودين لك النقطة يعني. Nothing new. If the conditionals we use حتى هذه طلعناها present simple. Remember when the question asked you, do we use what verb forms do we use in the main clause and in the if clause? And you told me we use present simple in both. This is correct. All right. Now take a look at this at the tip here. What does the tip say?
Tip. We can use other modal verbs, must have to, might, in conditionals. If you don't understand, you must ask the teacher.
Correct. So this means we can use modal verbs. You should, you might, you could, you must, but put them in, don't put them in the if clause, put them in the main clause, okay? Now let's talk about in case. I think in case this was the thing where we weren't completely sure of. So let's take a look at it. Can you read the 3 points for us? The 2 points, sorry. And what do you get from the 2 points?
We use in case to say that we prepared for something that might happen.
Okay, so this is what you said, right? Yes, بالضبط حتى أنت قلت might. Good. Okay, so the first one, we got it right. Very nice. Okay.
Students are scared of answering questions in case they get them wrong. I will take the umbrella in case it rains.
So it means it's not definite. This is the idea.
In case and if have different meaning.
Why? Why do they have different meanings? Can you check? Check the examples.
Okay,
But let's see why.
Compare this sentence. Mike, I will buy some food in case I get hungry. Mike is definitely going to buy some food so that is he prepared? He gets hungry in the future. James, I will buy food if I get hungry. James, Mike. ما فهمتش الحق.
Okay, let's take it bit by bit. Just focus on these two examples. I'm going to mark them in blue. Just read them, don't read the explanation, okay? This one.
Okay.
And then,
I will buy some food in case I get hungry.
Okay.
I will buy some food if I get hungry.
Okay. So in the first one, the first example, I'll buy some food in case I get hungry. Is the person going to buy the food or not going to buy the food?
الأولى متاع Mike.
Yeah, the one about Mike, yes. What do you think? Is he going to buy the food or not?
I think he will buy.
Okay, and the second one?
He's going to buy. Maybe.
James, is he definitely going to buy food? What if James
Maybe.
What if he doesn't get hungry? If James doesn't get hungry,
he won't buy food.
Yes. Yes. But what about Mike? Is he going to buy the food anyways?
Maybe, yes.
Is he definitely going to get hungry?
أعطني فضلك مثال ثاني ما زال هربا مني.
All right. Let's think of another example. So I'll study an extra 2 hours in case the exam is difficult. Okay, I'll study an extra 2 hours in case the exam is difficult. I'll study an extra 2 hours if the exam is difficult. Which one of them is right, by the way? One of them is wrong. Why?
أعودها.
Yeah,
I will study an extra 2 hours.
And in case the exam is difficult. In case the exam is difficult. So let me write them here. So I'll study 2 extra hours in case Okay, which one is correct and which one is not correct? في واحدة مش راكبة أصلا هي مش مظبوطة كمعنى. One of them. الإف خير.
غير صحيحة.
أوكي علاش غير صحيح؟
Because يعني because he should study extra 2 hours because he doesn't know if the exam is going to be difficult.
Yes, he doesn't know. because it makes no sense to study for an exam after the exam, right? It's a bit stupid.
بالضبط.
So the second student here, the stupid student, he says that if the exam is difficult, I'm going to study 2 hours. But you can't tell, you can't read the future, you can't tell if it's going to be difficult or not. صح ولا؟
إيه.
يعني grammatically ما فيش مشكلة، لكن كمعنى ما يقولش إلا واحد غبي. يعني بعد ما يخش على الامتحان وتجي الصدمة يقول لك لا حنقرأ توا ساعتين، أنت ما قدرتها قبل الامتحان. لكن الطالب الأول is a little smarter. He's going to take his precaution. هياخد احتياطاته. ذكي هذا. قال لك in case the exam is difficult, I'll be prepared because I'm going to study 2 hours either way. يعني سواء جابوه difficult ولا سواء ما جابوش، أنا حنقرأ هيك ولا هيك الساعتين هما. جابوه difficult 100 أنا مستعد. ما جابوش شيء خير وخير. You get the idea? So in case is like someone taking his precautions. Do you know what precaution means? Precaution?
إيه.
So precaution is like someone who is trying to be prepared for something bad. That's why with umbrellas, it's better to say, I'll take my umbrella in case it rains. Will it rain? For sure.
He's prepared.
Will it rain for sure? 100% or not definitely?
Not definitely.
Yes. But if it does,
he's ready.
That's it. So let's go back to the buying food hungry case. What do you understand now? Mike will buy food. Okay, your voice, Brian.
hungry or not?
Can you speak again?
قلت شو اسمه؟ Mike, he will buy food even if he's hungry or not.
Yes. Because he's preparing. So he didn't get hungry yet, Mike. مازال ما ضرباش الجوع. وممكن ما يضرباش، ممكن مشوار قصير يكون، ممكن يعني رحلة ما يجوعش فيها حتى جوعان. لكن حيشري الفود هيك ولا هيك هو حيشري. دي get the idea. ما يبيش يخلي راحة مش مستعد. يبي يرفع معاه الماكلة سواء جاع أو ما جاعش. The food is with him. Do you get the idea?
تحته المهم.
Yes, تحته بالضبط. All right. Now, what about James?
James, if he's hungry, he's going to buy some food. If he's not going to buy his food.
Yes. So the condition is hunger. If he gets hungry, he'll buy. If he doesn't feel hungry, he's not going to buy food. معناها الهنجر هو اللي حيصير الأول. الهنجر قبل الشري. لكن في مثال مايك الشري قبل الهنجر. عرفت كيف؟ So there is a bit of a difference. يعني لو من ترجمة بالفصحى نقدر نقوله مثلا المثال الأول سأشتري بعض الطعام في حالة لا مش في حالة لا سأشتري بعض الطعام لأستخدمه في حالة أصبحت جائع مثلا. الثاني مثال ثاني إذا شعرت بالجوع سأشتري. You get the idea? Okay? I hope it's clear. Do you get the idea here? So in case, always think of the best way to think of the word in case. Yeah, مثال بتاع الرين والامبريلا أسهل واحد. دي ما يديروا بها in case here. I'll take an umbrella in case it rains. Okay? معناها أنت بترفعها إن شاء الله ما صبتش المطر أنت رفعها البضلة. صبت ما عندكش مشكلة. احتياط. This is the idea. All right, so this was the only, I think, mistake we got. The rest of them were correct, which is great news. All right, now we checked the summary. What's this? This is the lesson after it. Where are we? Okay, here we are. All right, so we agreed that in case has a different meaning. It's not the same as if. There is a bit of a difference. All right, I think it's time for some exercises, but let's do a little bit of listening first, Ibrahim. Let's just practice. We want to listen and practice and maybe try to get the stress correct. Okay, so let me take you to the listening track and let's do a little bit of listening. Okay, so we want intermediate audio and we want track 2, CT2, track 7. All right, so all you need to do, Brian, listen and repeat.
Track 7. You want them to be happy and successful.
You can read.
If you have children, you want them to be happy and successful.
Okay, Brian, so let's repeat from the beginning.
Children. Okay.
Let's repeat from the beginning. So what they do is they say it in parts, okay?
Track 7.
Okay.
You want them to be happy and successful.
You want them to be happy and successful.
If you have children, you want them to be happy and successful.
If you want children, you want them to be happy and successful.
If you want children or if you have children?
If you want.
Are you sure? Let's check it.
Happy and successful. They don't develop in...
Sorry, here it is.
If you have children, you want them to be happy and successful.
What did you hear?
If you have children, you want them to be happy and successful.
Right.
They don't develop in other ways.
They don't develop in other ways.
If children study all the time, they don't develop in other ways.
Okay, he repeated it. Let me take you back.
If children study all the time, they don't develop in other ways.
Children study all the time, they won't develop in other ways.
That's right.
They shouldn't put too much pressure on them.
They shouldn't put too much pressure on them.
If parents want their children to be happy, they shouldn't put too much pressure on them.
If parents want their children to be happy, they shouldn't put too much pressure on them.
Right.
Praise the effort they make.
Praise the effort they make.
If you want to help your children, praise the effort they make.
If you want to help your children, praise the effort they make.
Right.
They can feel like they're failures.
They feel they like... ترى فضلك عودها.
Okay. Let's repeat that just a second.
If you want to help your children, praise the effort they make.
Okay, this is the old one.
They can feel like they're failures.
They feel like they're failures.
You missed a word.
Like they're failures.
Here.
They can feel like they're failures.
They can feel like they are failures.
Right, they can feel, yes.
If you criticize children for not getting good grades, they can feel like they're failures.
If you criticize children for not getting good grades, they can feel they are failures.
They can feel? Let's read the last part.
They can feel like they are failures.
Yes,
Criticize children for not getting good grades, they can feel like they're failures.
correct. All right, so these are just some examples of zero conditional, and I think the stress, they just want you to get used to the stress, I guess. All right, now we have a complete the sentence exercise. So here I think you need to, so it's a little tricky. So you have to choose between if and in case. Okay, so you need to know the difference between between if and in case, and you need to use the correct form of these verb forms, the correct, the right verb. And of course, if you think it needs any changing, you will have to change it. But let's read the verbs. You have feel, should start, don't want, give, is playing, have, don't get, can't work,
Don't get
and lose. Is this loose or is it lose? What do you think? Loose or lose?
Lose.
Correct. It's the verb lose. All right, now take a minute or so, think about them, and then choose the right ones.
I feel terrible.
And always think, remember that in case, it's always like the thing hasn't happened yet, right? So take an umbrella in case it rains. It hasn't rained yet, or at least you don't know if it's going to rain or not. Do you get the idea? So it's a bit like في حالة زي كأنك بتقول ارفعها على احتياط في حالة تصبت المطر عليك. في حالة تصبت المطر. ممكن ما تصبش. But the event still hasn't happened. So here now you have to think, okay, I have an easier idea. Why don't you leave the if and in case for the second part of the exercise? So in the beginning, just fill in the gaps with the verbs, okay? This way it's easier. And then you can focus. Then you can focus on if or in case.
I don't get sleep. I don't get enough sleep.
Okay, I don't get. وخلينا تو if ولا in case تو بعدين تقدر تقرر. I think it's easier just. Okay. And number 2.
Usually. Yes.
And let's cross out don't get. استعملناها مش هنحتاجها.
I usually have a glass of water by my bed.
Okay, I'm going to write have.
In case I got thirsty in the night.
Don't ask me. You need to decide. But my advice, Ibrahim, is to finish the gaps first. Okay? تو ما يهمش if ولا in case عادي مشيهم. لكن عبي الجابس.
أنا get you got.
Why got? And why get? And which one is the right one, which one isn't? According to the rule. What did the rule say when we were doing the rules?
Present simple.
Yes, we said present simple for both. صح ولا؟ For the if clause present simple and for the main clause present simple. I think this is what's unique about the zero conditional. الزوز في the present simple لأنهم facts. صح ولا؟ So, should you say get or got?
Get.
Right.
I should start saving money. I lose my job.
Okay. So let's cross out. Should start and let's cross out lose.
I can't work. Someone is playing music.
Okay, let's write that.
Batali don't want these clothes. Give them to charity.
Okay, let's write don't want and give. All right. Now
I feel terrible.
and let's cross out the ones we used. So we used these two, we don't need them. Now, all you need to do is think, has the thing happened or not? Because if it happened, maybe if is better, but if it hasn't happened yet, maybe it's better to say in case.
And I feel terrible if I don't get enough sleep.
So you think if is the correct answer?
Yes.
Okay, let's choose if, and then we can check that. خلينا نختار if. Okay.
I usually have a glass of water by my bed in case I get thirsty in the night.
Okay, so you haven't got, so you're not thirsty yet, صح ولا؟ لكن لو عطشت هتكون جنبك. Okay.
I should start saving money in case I lose my job.
You haven't lost it yet, but just in case. Okay.
I can't work
نكتب
if
نشوة.
someone is playing music.
Okay. Number 5.
If you don't want these clothes, give them to charity.
Okay. All right, so all of these are correct, right? I think this is a nice exercise which shows us the difference between if and in case. All right, from these 5 sentences, which are true for you? Or 4 sentences, which are true for you, Brian? Or which of them can you apply to your actual life, I mean?
1.
Just one? What about keeping a glass of water? Do you do that?
No.
No. Okay.
Because I can't sleep after I wake up.
You can't.
I can.
You can.
Yeah, because I don't mind if I get up and go to the kitchen, drink some water, and get back to sleep.
But wouldn't it be easier if the glass is right next to you?
Yeah, but because I have cats, they maybe break it.
You could use bottles. You know, plastic bottle.
Yeah, they will. كيف يعني القطيس أذكياء. هيديروا المهم حنديروا لك مشكلة.
Do you think they'll open it? Will they open the bottle?
They will find a way, صدقني.
Okay. All right. So yes, this is an example of how to use if or in can. Okay, let's go to number 6. Number 6 is also an interesting exercise. Okay, now here we are going to sort of play on the little difference between I and I'll. Okay, so here it makes a big difference between using I praise them, and I'll praise them. Can you read the 2 sentences here, the ones in blue, and tell me what do you think the difference is?
If my children make a lot of effort, I praise them. If my children make a lot of effort, I will praise them.
What do you get from these 2 examples? Or what's the difference in meaning, basically?
Zero conditional. He will praise the effort every time.
Right. And this is the first one or the second?
First one.
Right. Good.
Well, the second one, first conditional. He might praise them.
He might praise them, but when?
Yeah, if they make a lot of effort.
Correct. So he's talking about next time, right? He's not speaking. Yeah. He's not speaking generally, like the first example. The first example, this is someone who's speaking about his routine or how he normally deals with his kids or her kids. This is what they always do every time. They make an effort, they get praised. But the second one is just talking about a specific example. If the kid does this, if he makes a lot of effort, I'm going to praise him. This is the plan, at least, next time. So he's speaking about a one-time action or a one-time event. All right, so you get the difference in meaning. Now let's work a little bit on the pronunciation, okay? Because in number 9 it says listen and write the sentences you hear. You will hear each sentence twice, which are zero and which are first conditionals. So here they just want to get your ear tuned to the difference between I go and I'll go, or I take, I'll take, I give, I'll give. It's a small difference. It's just the I'll, the L sort of difference. So it needs a little bit of practice. So let's do this. First of all, let's hear the first two, the ones in blue, and then we can hear a group of examples.
Track 8.
If my children make a lot of effort, I praise them. If my children make a lot of effort, I'll praise them.
All right, now, and number 9, or track 9 here, the second one, part B, you're going to hear a group of sentences. I'm not sure how many, maybe 3 or 4. Each one will be repeated twice. You have to decide, are you hearing zero conditional examples or first conditional, okay? So of course
نديروها بالوحدة.
بالوحدة yes. لكن طبعا بيعطيك أمثلة تانية هم مش كاتبهم لك هنا. لكن أنت if you have a notebook in front of you or something to write, do you have a notebook?
دقيقة بس.
Or just a paper, it could help.
Yes.
Okay, so just write, for example, if you hear I'll, just write FC, first conditional. Number 1, FC. If you don't hear I'll, just write number 2, Z, zero conditional. For example, you don't have to write the whole sentence. You get my point? Just sort of spot them. That's all you want. All right, let's do it.
Track 9. 1.
If my children work hard, they get good grades. If my children work hard, they get good grades.
2.
If you fail the exam, you have to take it again. If you fail the exam, you have to take it again.
3.
I'll text you if there's a problem. I'll text you if there's a problem.
4.
We'll call you if we don't get there on time. We'll call you if we don't get there on time.
5.
If she doesn't call me, I worry. If she doesn't call me, I worry.
6.
If I see him, I'll say hello. If I see him, I'll say hello.
'Okay, did you get all of them?
Okay.
What about number 1? Was it a 0?
Zero conditional.
Okay. Number 2?
0.
And the third one?
First conditional.
Okay. Number 4?
First conditional.
And 5?
Zero conditional.
I think there were 5, right? Or 6?
6.
Yeah, there was a 6th one. And the last one?
First conditional.
Okay. So it's not too hard. It's just if they just want you to sort of zoom in on the will sound, the I'll. That's all. I think this is the point of exercise 6. That's all. All right, now moving on to number 7. Number 7 here we'll talk about something maybe slightly new. It's not too hard, but it is new, I think. So reflexive pronouns. All right. It says here, look at sentences A to C. So let's take a look at A to C. And then it says, notice reflexive pronouns in bold. All right. Can we see the examples here, Ibrahim? ABC, can you read the three examples, please?
It's important that they are allowed to enjoy themselves.
Okay.
This means children spend most of their free time studying by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We should also encourage children to work things out themselves.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now you have a few rules, 3 rules. So here you need to choose the right answer. Can you read the first one in sentence A?
In sentence A, they and themselves are the same or different people.
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Same.
Okay. And the next one?
And sentence B, by themselves means with others or alone. Alone.
Mm-hmm.
In sentence C, themselves شنية؟ Emphasis.
Emphasizes.
Emphasizes.
Yes.
Emphasizes that children do this with instead of someone else. We should see.
All right, what do they
We
mean
should
by
also
emphasizes?
عندي شيء فكرة.
To emphasize something is to, you know, sort of make it clear, or to focus on it, or to concentrate your attention to it. It's like saying in sentence 3, themselves stresses that children do this كذا كذا. So when for example, if you have an exam, that your professor or your doctor at university, he will emphasize the importance of Unit 2. So he'll tell you Unit 2 is really important. Unit 2, lots of questions from Unit 2. Please review Unit 2. Do the questions of Unit 2, summarize Unit 2, and study Unit 2 very well. So if he's talking so much about Unit 2, this means he's emphasizing how important it is. So in Arabic, what does this mean? To emphasize or to stress how important something is.
يقول لك إنه مهم.
Not just saying important. No. It's not a summary. Emphasizes to التشديد على شيء ما.
يوضح لي.
مش حتى توضيح، تجديد. معناها مركزين لك على شنو؟ التركيز على شنو؟ So in sentence C, themselves, تركز لك على شنو؟ تشدد على شنو؟ This is the idea. تحثوا على شنو؟ الحث أو التجديد أو هيك يقصدوا يعني.
Okay.
Focuses, let's say focuses, stresses, maybe. So what do you think? Read sentence
Instead
C
of
first.
someone else.
But just read it.
We should also encourage children to work things out themselves.
So هنا themselves, هل نقصد بها أن نشددوا على أن الصغار يديروا الشيء هذا with someone else or instead of someone else?
Instead.
Okay, let me write your answer. We can check all of these in the summary, of course, but we have this question. Can you see question B?
What are the reflexive pronouns for I, you, singular,
Pronouns.
he, she, it, you, and they?
What are the reflexive pronouns?
فهمتهاش السؤال حق.
Okay, so هما اللي شفناهم فوق themselves. Themselves, these are examples of reflexive pronouns. So it means in part B, they want you to look for all the reflexive pronouns for I, you, we, they. So here we only have the reflexive pronoun of they, themselves, right? What about you?
Okay. Yourself.
Right, and he?
Himself.
And she?
Herself.
What about our, or where is it? You for plural? When you're talking to a group of people. Not you for singular, you for plural.
Ourselves.
Ourselves, if we want to talk about us, ourselves, اللي هي we, جاية متاع we, ourselves, yes. But what about plural you? أنت بكري لما قلت لك you شنو قلت لي أنت؟
Yourself.
Correct. What if you're not talking to one person? What if you're talking to a group of people?
Yourselves.
Yes. All right, I think you get the problem. You get the point. What about I?
Myself.
All right, let's see if your answers are correct in the summary. أنت اخترت the same people, alone, and instead of someone else, okay? Let's check the summary and let's see. I have a feeling you're right. I have a feeling you got them correct. You got them right. All right, can you see the reflexive pronouns at the top right? Can you see them? All right, so so what does it say here? The first point, is it same people or different people?
Same people.
Nice, so you got that right. And by myself, what does it mean? When you say I did it, yeah, when I did it by myself, or you did it by yourself, or they did it by themselves, so it means without the help of anyone else, alone, right? And the third point, it says
instead of someone else.
Right. So when we say children should work things out themselves, بروحهم بدل ما حد يديرها لهم, they should do it themselves. يحلوا واجباتهم بروحهم. They should do their homework themselves. Parents shouldn't do the homework of their children, right? This is what we're saying here. We should also encourage children to work things out themselves. Let them work. Let them try to do it themselves, independently, without the help of anyone else. Okay? All right, let's see the list, the table. I think the table is all correct. زي ما أنت درتها. We have myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourself, ourselves, because it's plural, ourselves, yourselves, because you're talking to plural, themselves, right? So you also answered the table correctly. Now, I'd like you to take a look at the tips here, Brian. Let's see the tips. Usually the tips contain extra information. And let's see the pictures. We also have nice pictures here. Okay, can you read the tips for us, please, Brian? And what do you understand from these tips?
Some verbs that are reflexive in other languages aren't reflexive in English. For example, meet, relax, and feel.
Mm-hmm.
We can say on my...
Okay, sorry, let's talk a little bit about the first tip. هنا بالليبي ترى استعمل لي كلمة نحس، حطها لي في جملة هيك بالليبي، جملة ليبية. نبيك تحط لي فيها، نبيك تحط لي
فيك ناوي مشكلة.
عودها.
نحس فيك ناوي مشكلة.
نحس فيك. شو درت لي أنت توا؟ نحس فيك.
كيف؟
لكن نحس فيك هنا درت لي أنت reflexive pronoun. دي قد idea. يعني تعتبر الverb reflexive في طريقة استعمالها في الليبي. باي مثلا لما بتقول بنحط كلمة نحس وأنت مريض، شو بتقول؟
نحس بوجع، نحس روحي مريض.
حس في روحي، رجع حطيت لي reflexive من جديد. حس في روحي مريض، صح ولا؟ But in English we don't say I feel myself sick, right? In English we just say I feel sick, I feel ill. صح ولا لا؟ لكن بالعربي كيف نديروا فيها؟ نحس في روحي، نحس في روحي. يعني كان لو مترجمان نحس في روحي مريض، كأنه بالإنجليزي بتقول I feel myself to be ill, I feel myself sick. Do you get the point? هي هذه التب أصلا تدوي لك على النقطة هذه، إن في لغات ثانية من ضمنهم طلع الليبي، أو من ضمنهم العربي طلع، هنا حتى في الإسباني والبرتغالي نفس القصة. حتى هنا الأفعال ما تعرف داروا لي أزمة، لأن ديما يحطوا في reflexive زي كأنه بالليبي هيك، نحس في روحي، بنريح روحي، ريلاكس. حتى بالريلاكس نبي نرتاح، لكن نرتاح تو بالليبي ما نستعملوش فيها روحي، لكن مرات نستعمل فيها ريح روحك، صح ولا؟ نقولوا فيها بالليبي برا ريح روحك، حتى في العراكات يلا ريح روحك يقول لك، صح ولا؟ But in English you can't say go relax yourself. Doesn't make sense. It sounds weird, right? You just say I need to relax. You need to relax. Do you get my point, Ibrahim? Are you there, Ibrahim? وصلت الفكرة ولا ما وصلتلكش؟
ايه معك.
Okay, so القصة في reflexive.
وصل.
reflexive هي موضوع أن غريب ينبهك في الملحوظة الأولى tip 1. بيوضحك أنت كمتكلم باللغات الثانية مرات أنت في لغتك تدير فيها reflexive ومش فايق على روحك. تمشي بعدين بترجمها في الإنجليزي تمشي تحط أنت reflexive في الإنجليزي وفي أفعال ما فيهمش. They're not reflexive in English. Relax and feel are not reflexive. We just say I feel bad, I feel good, I feel happy. But بالليبي حتقول نحس في روحي فرحان. نحس في روحي فرحان. ما نقدرش نقول نحس فرحان. تقدر بالليبي تقول نحس فرحان. ما تجيش، لازم تقول نحس في روحي فرحان. ففيها الريفلكسيف هذه روحي، روحك. Do you get my point? هي هذه النقطة كلها تتكلم على القصة هذه. All right, it's the second tip. Can you tell me a little bit about the second tip? Brian? Are you there?
Yeah.
Second tip. Can you see the second tip here? What does it say? Can you read it, please?
Notice the difference between themselves and each other.
No. The second tip. sorry. Second صح. هنا اللي كنا نقول فيها الأولى the first. أقرأ لي the second. We can say.
ما بنتليش. We can say on my own, on your own, instead of by myself and by yourself.
Okay, can you read the two examples?
I enjoy living by myself on my own. We don't say by myself, by my own.
So when you say myself, here you can also substitute myself. You can change it by using on my own. So you can say I like living on my own, or I enjoy living on my own. فتقدر تغير هنا سواء قلت on my own is alright, ولو قلت by myself حتى هي ماشي حالها. Alright, you get the point. So myself is the same meaning as on my own. All right, can you see the last point? I'd like you to tell me the difference here.
Notice the difference between themselves and each other.
Can you read the commentary under the pages, under the pictures?
Nikki and Alice are looking at themselves. Nikki and Alice are looking to each other.
At each other. What's the difference? What's the difference between these two? Are you falling asleep, Ibrahim?
لا أنا غير كان أخمم بس ما أعرفش.
Okay, so what do you think? What's the difference? What's this? There's something here. What is
يعني
this?
على الواحد
شنو هذا اللي واقفين قدامها؟ It's like they're seeing their reflections, right? Here. So where can you see your reflection?
In the mirror.
Okay, so do you think they're standing in front of a mirror?
Yes.
Okay, they are. They're standing in front of a mirror.
تمام أنا قعدت نشبح له من على أساس تمام.
Right.
يسخر التنبل أنا من اللي يرسم أنا مرة واحدة. تمام.
All right. So if you want to translate both pictures, كيف بالليبي كيف بتقول على الصورة الأولى شو بتقول على الصورة الثانية ترى؟
هذه الصورة الأولى الصورة اللي على اليسار. يشبحوا في روحهم على المراية.
اوكي صح. يشبحوا في روحهم صح.
الصورة الثانية يشبحوا لبعض.
بالضبط. That's it. اوكي هو هذا كلها قصة. واغلب الملاحظات هنا التبس كلها اللي هي مقارنات باللغات الثانية، بس انه بيذكرك ان الانجليزي مرات مش زي لغتك، لان طلعت حتى زي ما حكيت لك يعني طلعت حتى في لغتنا نحطه في قصة الريفلكسيف هذه، نحس في روحي، نريح روحي، نمشي نرتاح نريح روحي شوية، you know. But in English you can't do that. You can't say feel myself or relax myself. It doesn't work. All right, فهذه قصة reflexive. Let's go back. Let's do some reflexive pronoun exercises. All right. Not here, the one before it. I think it's the one before this one. Here it is. All right, let's do a few exercises. So ما دام فهمنا النقطة, we get the point now. Let's do number 8. Now in number 8, just use the correct reflexive pronoun, Ibrahim. So can you read number 1?
Okay. I made my daughter's jumper myself. My son likes playing by himself. We went to educate our children by themselves ولا by them شنو متاع own
ourselves. Is this what you want? أنت تبي زي on our own. On our own قصدك.
by their own.
On their own ولا by
on their own أيوة.
باي on their own المعنى صح لكن ما تعتبرش on their own ما تعتبرش reflexive pronoun. It's not اللي فيهم self بس هم reflexive pronoun. هم myself, yourself, his, himself. اللي فيهم self هذا reflexive اللي ما فيهمش مش reflexive. Okay.
دي برا.
No, number 3 we still didn't do it.
Number 4 شنو أول كلمة؟
Deborah. It's a name.
We want to educate ourselves, our children by themselves.
حط في بالك ديما الرeflexive pronoun هو ليه علاقة بالسبجكت. Children هنا مش subject الجملة ما هوش الفاعل.
Okay.
Who's the subject? What's the
we?
Yes, the subject is we.
Subject.
معناها reflexive pronoun ليه علاقة بالسبجكت. If you check the first example, أنت مش لما قرأت لي حتى رقم 2 لما أنت حلتها لاحظ روحك شنو درت. عاود لي رقم 2. Can you repeat it?
My son likes playing by himself.
بالضبط لأن الكلام كله على السبجكت اللي هو the son صح ولا؟ himself.
son.
وهنا في المثال رقم 1 لما قلنا I made فما دام I الكلام نقوله myself أي روحي فمعناه هنا عندنا we is the subject.
فمعناه ourselves.
That's it. Yes. Ourselves because it's plural. We is plural. What about Deborah? Deborah is a woman's name.
Okay, looks after her after 3 children by herself.
Right, correct.
I usually cut the kids' hair by myself.
Okay. Do we have to say by? Can we just say myself بغير by?
I usually cut the kids' hair myself. ما يمكن أظن الأحسن نستخدم by myself.
I think the only situation where you have to use by is when you use it like alone. You can say, for example, I live here by myself. لما تستخدمها reflexive to refer to something which you do alone. Do you get the idea? لكن هنا ما ندوش على حاجة أنت تدير فيها alone. هنا ندو على حاجة أنت تدير فيها without the help of anyone else. التركيز بش هل أنت alone ولا لا. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, let's do number 6 and then I'll take you back to the summary.
The party was great. All the kids enjoyed themselves.
Correct. Yeah. My point I was saying here, the one about Where is it? Okay. Can you see it? Here, this point.
We also use
Can you check? Can you check the second tip? And then.
Okay, we use by myself and by yourself to mean alone.
بالضبط.
This means to spread. Okay.
لو القصة alone اللي هي ندو فيها مش أن الحاجة تديرها بروحك، أنك أنت قاعد بروحك. Studying by themselves, spend most of their time. Spend. Do you get the idea? التركيز مش على studying، على spending.
Okay.
على spending time. Children spend their free time by themselves. You can say, my cousin Ahmed is living in a nice apartment by himself. You get the idea? So it means he's broha. All right. So by only use it for situation where where you are on your own. هي هذه أيوة. التip الثانية هذيك تساعدنا. The idea is if you want to test لو by my own هي اللي دباها ولا لا، جرب بدلها ب on my own, on his own, on her own. لو مشت لك أنا 100 إجابتك صح. لو ما مشت لكش ممكن مش مزبوطة. So for example here, the kids spend most of their time on their own. On their own. It fits. It works. So this means it's correct. Okay. Okay. So let's go back. All right. So we talked a little bit about reflexive pronouns. I think we get the point. If you don't understand something. Right. Here, this is also nice. So here, Ibrahim, I'd like you to think of 5 sentences. So these are your top tips, okay? So imagine your friend who's a beginner student. He's asking you, Ibrahim, can you give me some top tips on how to improve my English language, okay? So you're going to give him 5 tips. And these tips are usually, you're going to try to make them in the zero conditional, okay? So can you read these 2 interesting tips here? We have 2 tips. I'd like you to read them, please. Can you read them?
Get rid of that.
The ones in blue here.
Okay. If you don't understand something, ask the teacher. Always have a dictionary with you in case you need to look something up. All
right. So here the idea, you're going to give me, imagine I'm your beginner friend, student, or whatever, okay? And you're going to give me a group of tips. And you want to use, you should use if and in case. So all your tips have if and in case. All right. So you might need to write them maybe on a paper to help you. But I'm going to give you some time. Let's say 5 minutes, 4 minutes, or maybe less. So I'd like you to think of 5 sentences, which are basically tips and maybe advice on how to improve my learning or how to learn English faster. That's the idea.
Okay.
Mhm. And of course, think of everything. Think of all the things you do to help yourself learn, or the things you did in the past, or how to deal with teachers, courses, workbooks, homework, exams, the internet, music,
قاعد أفكر.
video games. Yeah, mention it all.
يعني هل G if you want to improve your
Okay,
English
G.
سلام محمد رسول الله. If you want to improve your English you should
G should يمشي حالها. مش اتفقنا المودal verbs.
نستخدم حاجة هي إيه نستخدم الزيرو تايب الفيرست كونديشنال ولا
لا
عادي؟
زيرو. اها زي اللي درناها هنين بكري اللي هي فوق you should praise them. لا praise هي imperative. عندي فكرة خلينا نرفعك حتى الأمثلة للأولاد ممكن يعطوك شوية إلهام يساعدوك. The ones here, can you see that?
إيه
Yeah, so you can copy some ideas. هي تقدر تستعمل can, should, you must. لو أنت بتعطي tip فحاجة مهمة جدا لازم يديرها هذا صاحبك اللي هو beginner فبتقول له you must كذا كذا. You should أيضا لو بتنصحه تقدر تقول له should بعد تقدر تقول له you can تقدر كذا كذا تستعمل you can use مش عارف شنو تقدر تشوف مش عارف شنو. So feel free. You can use can, should, must. وتقدر تعطيه حتى أوامر. If you want to sound like a native, no. تقول له لازم يدير حاجة معينة مثلا. Right? So you can also use imperatives. So there's a bit of flexibility, I think, with the zero conditional.
في flexibility لكن
لازم تتقيد
نفسها ما قاعد نفكر فيها أصلا.
أنا أعطيك أفكار. Talk about using books, using novels, using the internet, watching movies, listening to music, traveling abroad, taking courses, chatting with friends online. All of these things can help you learn English, right? So just put them in sort of if sentences. If you want to sound like a native, da 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 da. If you want to improve your spelling, da 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 da. If you want to improve your listening skills, na. If you want to مش عارف شني كذا 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 وهكذا. If you don't understand something, شوف روحك شو تدير da 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 وهكذا. If you have a video game, مثلا make sure the language is in English. Or مثلا if you're going to watch a movie, use English subtitles. مثلا, this kind of stuff.
يعني نقول if you want to play a video game, you should use English subtitle.
This is a good one. صح? You should use بالضبط. If you want to play a video game, use English subtitles. وإلا حتى you should use English subtitles. سواء قدرت use هيك أعطيتها لها أمر imperative طول بلطالة use English subtitles كويس. دي بدي لها you should use كويس. زول صح. Both are correct. Okay, this is a good tip. Very good tip. Give us something else.
If you want to improve your pronunciation, you sing with English music.
Good. Sing along with English songs, for example. Sing along with English songs. بالضبط. أنت أعطيتها imperative توا. غني معاهم. Sing along. Good advice. Okay. Number 3. So you have 2 good tips now.
If you want to improve your writing,
what should you do?
you should
What's the best way to improve writing?
to استغفر الله شنو يقولوا لي إياه
What is it?
to train yourself.
Okay, you should
spelling.
practice. You should practice spelling
أيوة.
new words. You should practice spelling new words. مثلا ولا you should read more books. حتى reading يحسن في writing هو. You should read more books. You should practice your spelling. If you want to improve your writing, you should practice your spelling. You should study more vocabulary, right? Okay, I think you get the point. So this is how we use the first conditional, right? And this, I mean the zero conditional. هذه فكرتها. In our next lesson, inshallah, we're going to talk about the second. لا هذه ما في شيء. في درس ثاني حنخش في السكند. عندك السكند والثيرد جوهم حلو. لكن ما زال مش في شكله بيعطونا في unit 7. What's this unit 7? ما زال أنا مش حيجونا على طول. ما زال في الدرس هذا. لكن نبي نوريك مثال بس تشوف الجو كيف. Take a look at these. Take a look at these 2. I don't want to confuse you. لكن أغريك كيف الجو بس. Check these 2 examples, Ibrahim, and tell me what's the difference.
If I have enough money, I will buy a new laptop. If I had enough money, I'd buy laptop. يعني في الزمن
في المعنى. طبعا لولا
لو
هي
كان عندي فلوس لو اشتريت
دقيقة. لولا إبراهيم اللي احنا قريناها اللي هي الفيرست كونديشنال صح ولا؟
ايه
هذا اللي هو الفيرست كونديشن. أنا عندك present وبعدين عندك will صح ولا؟ اوكي فما معناها واضحة. لولا كان نحصل فلوس شو كان نحصل فلوس حنشري اللابتوب.
ايه
But what about the second one? طبعا second هي على فكرة second conditional طبعا مثال ثاني هو ما قدوناش عليه. But what do you think? I'm just guessing. I want you to guess قصدي.
لو كان عندي فلوس لو اشتريت لابتوب.
زوز هيك
لو
معناها.
اشتريت اللابتوب.
لو كان عندي فلوس راهو شريته. لكن تعال نترجمهم لك. شوفها الأول كانوا مديروه بالليبي. كان عندي فلوس حنشريه. كان عندي فلوس كان عندي فلوسه حنشريه. ولا لما if I have money ولا لما يبدو عندي حنشريه. لكن الثاني كان عندي فلوس راهو شريته من زمان. مش شرط من زمان يعني كان عندي فلوس راهو شريته. شو الفرق؟ شو تحس الفرق؟
يعني واحد في الفيوتشر واحد في الباست. يعني واحد يقول لو أنا عندي فلوس راح حنشتري اللابتوب هذا الفيرست.
اوكي.
لكن السكند لو كان عندي فلوس راهو شريته يعني من قبل الحدث هذا،
صح.
من قبل زمن المتكلم.
من صح كلامك، هذا واحدة من الفروقات. لكن في نفس الوقت هل حيشري يعني في المثال الثاني الشخص اللي يتكلم في المثال الثاني هل حيشري لابتوب ولا مش حيشري؟ if I had enough
ما
money.
أظنش حيشري، نشريه شكله.
صح، كان بيشري راه شري زمان وما شراش زمان، فيدوي هو يدوي قاعد على حدث خيالي. يعني قال لك كان عندي فلوس راه شريته، هو ما كانش عنده فلوس اصلا فمش حيشري اكيد، هنا ما كانوش عنده right. لكن اللي في الاول هذا اللي قاعد يقول لك if I have enough money I'll buy it، هذا ممكن يعني واقف عليه money، بس لو حصل الماني حيشري right. anyways don't overthink it. لكن رغم نوريك ان في شويه هيك mind games بيجوك طبعا مع second conditional، لان اغلبها يدوي على الحاجات الخياليه. مثلا زي واحد اتطلق باي، فيمشي بيدوي على مرته يقول if I had known she was crazy I wouldn't have married her right. but did he know she was crazy؟
لا
لان هو قال if I had known، راني ما تزوجهاش، كان ندري بس ليبيين ديما نتحصروا. فالسكند كونديشنال يمشي حاله كويس ولا ممكن الثيرد ذاك. يعني المثال اللي اعطيته لك if I had known I would have بالضبط، يعني المثال اعطيته لك اللي هو second صح. في نوع من الحسرة ان حاجة صارت في الماضي ما تقدرش تغيرها. if I had known things would be the way they are I would have left the country but I didn't know it was going to be like this. فهمت كيف؟ ففي جو هيك تلعب على الازمنه شويه يعني. ما زال شويه هذا موضوع، مش حتى في الدرس الجاي عندنا حاجات ثانيه we have other stuff. Anyway, so that's all for today. Thank you for your time and I'll see you on Thursday, right? Thursday. I'll see you on Thursday, yes. Okay, and if you have any questions feel free to send them. All right?
اوكي.
Okay then. Bye bye.
مع السلامة.
مع السلامة.